Hi guys, this is Ilachi Nagda and you are watching Chai with Ilachi. Today we have with us a very special guest directly from California, US, and he's been working in the Bollywood industry for the past 15 years. Mark, please could you give a short description about yourself and what attracted you to Bollywood and what made you leave California out of all the places on the planet?
Oh boy. Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Yeah, I think the first thing, first and foremost, it was love. I came here just sort of to see another part of the world, in 2010. And then I met my now wife.
Oh, wow.
On that first trip, just by chance, by chance meeting. And I was going back and forth. So I was working on this book project, photography book, and I was going back and forth for a couple of years. But it was really... it was Topsy that, after about 2 years of coming back and forth, then she got into a PhD program in New York. And so then I moved to New York, and then eventually a couple of years later we moved to Bombay.
That's a lovely love story. So love
it's a very long love story. I'm giving you the super short version.
Correct. Yeah. So I think we'll sit on a coffee someday and discuss about it definitely. Yes.
For sure.
So as a kid, while you were growing up back in California, what was your passion like? Like basically when you were still older than me, like at least 10, 15 years for a matter of fact. But when I was growing up, I was influenced by the Western culture. I was influenced by the rock music, the metal music. And so, I think that's pretty common out there.
Yeah.
So what was your childhood like growing up?
The biggest thing music was a huge thing. I grew up playing drums. So I think probably that was the first, I wanted, when I was very small, I wanted to be a ballet dancer just because I went and saw the Nutcrackers every Christmas. And that was my sort of, fantasy that I would grow up and be this ballet dancer. And then I saw Saturday Night Fever when I was 8 and thought, wow, look at this guy. He's moved to New York City. He's a dancer. That's what I want to do. And not quite putting it together that, that's a film and he's an actor and, he's telling a story about, this guy who moves to New York. So anyway, it started to sort of creep into the picture that it was acting that was really the thing that I was most interested in.
Sure.
And that came in around probably 14 or 15. I think I took my first acting class. But prior to that, it was just drumming, it was listening to music and playing drums, The Police.
Yeah.
And all of that stuff.
So being a drummer, so that's basically getting attracted to rock music.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite band back in the day?
Police. Just to clarify, The Police.
The Police. Okay.
Yeah.
Because while I was growing up, it was Linkin Park.
Oh, you were way,
you were way ahead. Yeah. And I think it was also Metallica till some extent, Iron Maiden as well till some extent.
Iron Maiden, that's who I listened to when I was folding my newspapers for my paper route.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Iron Maiden, and I think my first concert was Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath, yes.
Yeah, I listened to a lot of metal when I was, again, an early teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what made you stick to Mumbai then? Like once you were there and... what made you stay? It's basically calm, it's chaotic, it's a fast moving city. I think for some people, I feel it's faster than New York as well.
It's certainly less manicured than New York, which I find appealing. Like I've always found that appealing. Although sometimes I feel like, the infrastructure is not what, you'd like it to be. And, but that's kind of a side note to the real warmth and genuine, the sincerity and enthusiasm that you find here amongst everyone. And not only that, this has come up a lot. Like, I feel like Bombay is the safest city I've ever lived in.
Okay.
Out of any, I never think about, maybe with the exception of Davis, where I grew up, a small college town. Like, you don't even think about it. You walk around at night, we've got 2 small daughters. Like, you don't even, it doesn't cross your mind.
Because I personally find Bombay safe as well.
Yeah.
Like Mumbai now particularly. But I was almost mugged in New York while I was in New York.
See?
So yeah, I think Mumbai is much safer that way.
Yeah. Even in LA, the road rage. I mean, it's like
crazy.
Here, people are missing each other by millimeters and nobody gives a shit. And there it's like, oh my God, you cut me off. And it's like, I'm going to, it's crazy. It's so different. It's very different.
So what would you say there has to be a secret love for Mumbai that made you stay across. Is it the food? Is it the people? I'm dead sure it would be your wife, but I was
yeah. I mean, for sure, Topsy. But actually, we came back here because of for me because there was so much. That was right after I'd done Permano, and there was a lot of calls coming in for work. So I was the one who was telling her like, "Hey, can we, go back to India," and she was ready to go. But I would say, yeah, the people first and foremost, the people, just this sort of vibrance, the energy, this really sort of flowy energy that India has, that Bombay has, which I think you see sort of externalized in the traffic, which is always like it's such a talking point.
Yeah, it's always
for me with everyone. Maybe with everyone, it's like the traffic is phenomenal.
Yes,
the way everyone just weaves, nobody ever. It's like watching ice skaters, like ice hockey.
Yeah.
They're just, it's amazing.
They're just bumping into each other, running into each other.
But not even bumping. Everyone is just flowing and missing each other by
fraction of millimeters.
Fraction of millimeters. It's incredible.
So we're going to talk about a lot across, but I wanted to start with Living the Dream. That was your dream project.
Yeah.
So could you highlight on that, like what inspired you to do that?
It was a David Allen Harvey was a mentor of mine, photography mentor, who was a big National Geographic photographer, and so he and I had become friends, and he was talking about that you should do a book because I got into photography as a second second career.
Correct.
So he was saying, you're not just going to go intern at at your age, you're not going to go intern at the Times or whatever.
Correct.
You should do a book, and what you should do, because you had been an actor for 10 years in New York and LA, you should do an honest to God photography book on the acting community in LA. In Hollywood, because you know it so well. And so I kind of started that project, but it was really, there were just like, not just hurdles, there were just walls. You cannot get in touch with people in the same way you can here.
Yeah.
Even though I think it may be harder to get in touch with people. It was easier for me also coming as a foreigner, and I realized that, I recognized that.
Yeah.
But it was very difficult to start that project. And so around about that time, I had come here just to see another part of the world. And that's when I thought, well, maybe I can do something here. And it just so happened that I met this person who introduced me to this person who introduced me to Guneet, Munga. And Guneet introduced me later to Shanu Sharma. So it was just like the city was just open arms, welcoming. And I think that was part of the sincerity and the genuine, ness that I was bringing to the city and to the project. And so I was getting that back in return.
So I was just going through the book, and I saw there are a lot of stories of Bollywood actors and stuff. Like a lot of stories of Bollywood actors, particularly. Mm-hmm. Which was the one actor that inspired you the most? Inspired me? I mean, Irrfan was the most, not starstruck, but he was the only one I got a selfie with. Oh, is it?
Yeah, I don't take selfie. I mean, I never think about it. It's not part of my, but I wanted to get a photo with him. I was very taken with him. I had seen him in a very popular show, in the States called In Treatment.
Yeah.
And then I had seen, some of the one he did with Mir Nair. I had seen some other work of his, but it was that show In Treatment that would just blew me away. I was like, who is this guy? And then I met him. I was like, oh my God, like he's amazing. He till date, like he's just so sad.
Yeah, it's really sad. Yeah,
he's so great.
So out of the stories that you did in Living the Dream, was there any story that particularly made you emotional? Because for a guy coming from California, Hollywood's all about practicality, particularly speaking. Bollywood, on the other hand, is more emotional. It's more theatrical. Yeah. It's more emotions, drama. Everything is more.
Yeah.
So, was there any story that stuck with you?
Yeah, I mean, it's all heart.
Here.
It's all heart, and it's all. What really stood out to me was when I met Dharmendra.
Okay.
And he was the first really big star, more senior, but legend. And that was, when I asked him, how did he get into it? And he was just like, wow, I wanted people to love me, and there was something that was just so incredibly matter of fact about it. Like I feel like an American would never approach it that way. Yeah. It was just absolutely pure and genuine. He wanted people to love him, and he was also a good actor. And but it wasn't about acting. It was about love. And his entire the interview, like everything came back to love, and this love that he feels with his audience, his fans.
Yes,
and so that was very moving. And when I went back to his house months later, after I'd photographed him and interviewed him, I went back and I read him. He wanted to, see the photograph. He wanted to see what I had written from the interview. And I started crying reading it, and he started crying. We were both just sitting there in his office, in his house, just both of us crying. There's nobody else in the room, just me and him. It was incredible.
That's pure emotion.
It was pure emotion. Yeah. Pure emotion.
So let me understand this one thing. What was your first movie and how did you get that? Your first movie in your life in general, like Hollywood or Bollywood?
My first movie was here. Actually, because everything I had done in LA was television.
Okay.
It was all syndicated, VIP and Star Trek and all of these things. Television, which I still get residual checks for, which is the one good thing about the infrastructure of, SAG and AFTRA and all that. But the first film I got here was a film called The Letters, which was an international film that, there was this crew that came over, and Tess Joseph, a friend of mine, said, hey, we need this, British role or whatever. It turned out to be American, but she said, why don't you audition for this? And I was like, no, I'm not. Literally, I had no interest. I was like, I'm a photographer now, and I don't do that anymore. She said, no, just audition. We need somebody for this thing. And so I did audition, and I ended up getting the role and taking the role because Taapsee and I just started dating. So I thought, well, it's a free ticket back, and it's a paid trip back to see Taapsee. And that was my main, that's why I did the film. Also, it was starring Juliet Stevenson, who I was a huge fan of. Okay. And Rutger Hauer and Max von Sydow. Like, it was a huge all-star cast. So that was a cool thing to be a part of, although it turned out to be a pretty flawed shoot.
Okay. But it was good. Happens. It was good. Yeah, it happens. It happens a lot, definitely. In the industry, it happens a lot. So I think you'd taken a sabbatical from acting, and then you returned to acting in 2015.
2015.
With Byomkesh.
That came out 2015. Yeah, we shot it right after I was here. We were here for our wedding, which was the end of 2013.
Correct.
My friend Vikas Chandra was a creative director on Byomkesh. Same like Tess. He said, hey, we need a white guy for this thing. Would you read for it? I was like, dude, I had such a bad experience on that last. I have no interest. He said, come on, just read for it. Just read for it. I put an audition together. Debakar liked it. And so I got cast in that. And that was, so that was my first Hindi film. And that was, like when I was, it's like the night before. They added me to a few scenes. They flew me up to wherever, Calcutta. And I was like, so can I get the scenes? Like, we're shooting tomorrow morning. Yeah. He said, well, we haven't written it yet. I was like, oh, okay. Can I get it tonight? Yeah. Well, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Of course, it turned out to be, 7:00 the next morning.
Oh my God.
I get the script, and we're shooting at 8 or 9 or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, how am I I don't speak Hindi. Like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. We'll get it. I was like, how? How are we going to get it? I don't speak Hindi.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. So that was my introduction to
Bollywood.
Don't worry about it. Yeah. To performing in a language that I was just like, oh my God, it felt like I was hanging on to the edge of the cliff for my life. Like, I was just like, it wasn't even acting. I was just trying to memorize sounds that come out in a particular order. You know what? I didn't know what I was saying.
Yeah.
I had no idea what I was saying.
So I would like to ask you about this one thing, which I particularly, so I have done a diploma in filmmaking from Toronto Film School. So I have seen the life in the West, and I have seen the life over here as well.
Yeah.
So how how was it different for you? Because for me, it was more of racism and trying to get into Hollywood and everything as well. But for you, was that racism perfect for you to get the boundaries set over here?
Meaning,
I mean that for me to get work in Hollywood was very difficult because I was a brown guy.
Right.
Yeah. Brown guy, black guy, Spanish, Latino. It's everything is very difficult for people to get work in Hollywood, particularly. Over here, on the contrary, you being a white guy, was it easy? It's a boon?
It's a boon. Oh. Yeah, because because those roles are required. You do a period piece, you're going to need some British Raj. You're going to need some white guy, to fill that role. And so I think, as I've come to learn, like, I don't think that the white actors here have had a lot of respect because a lot of them just weren't actors.
Correct.
They were guys that, they're on vacation in Goa and they get a tap on the shoulder and say, I've got a funny story. So I know a guy who knows Adrian Brody.
Okay.
Right, who just won his second Academy Award. After he won his first Academy Award, he was on vacation in Goa with his girlfriend and he got a tap on the shoulder saying, hey, you want to come be in this film? They had no idea it was Adrian Brody. Anyway, he didn't do it.
Because obviously.
But anyway, so it's all about getting a tap on the shoulder and sort of some guy who's never acted before, some white guy just coming in and just saying lines. And of course they're not trained. They have no instinct for acting at all.
Correct.
So, so I think if there's any sort of, it's not, I don't know what the word is. Look down on.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there was initially, or maybe that's why I also started working, because I had been trained and I had worked in the West and I had done quite a bit of work and I'd done my master's in acting, et cetera, et cetera. So when I came here, I feel like maybe I had a slight edge over the guys, of course, who had never worked before. Although there are friends of mine who have been working here for years and developed their own, technique and are very good. So
how was it working with Sanjay Leela Bhansali? Like, he's considered as one of the biggest directors in the world, probably, I would say, because his sets are always larger than life. And how was that experience?
That for me was great. Because of the fact, I'd seen Bajirao Mastani, like I'd seen a number of his films. And so I knew, and I'd heard stories about his temperament and, his tenacity and his, drive and quest for perfection in himself and everyone else around him. So, but I had met him after about 3 days of shooting. I'd done some night shoots where he wasn't there. It was his assistant, but he had seen the dailies, from what I had shot. So when I met him, he just came right up to me and he said, hey, he came up to me and he said, you're a very good actor. So I was like, that's if that's how we were starting, that's amazing. Like, that was amazing. It was such just a tap on,
it's like getting approved by one of the idols that you consider.
So then I that took away all my nerves instantly. I was like, okay, amazing.
So Mark, I if I'm not wrong, you've also tried your hands in direction as well.
I've directed in a number of theater pieces and some ads and stuff like that. I'm directing my first short film in a couple of weeks that I've written.
Right.
And then I also directed a proof of concept. I've written a series. So I directed a proof of concept for that I could submit with the Bible and everything, because it's a very slice of life thing. So when you read it on paper, you're like, what happens?
Correct.
And it's like, well, not a lot, but there's an arc to everything, to the story, but it's more about, these characters in the same room. So it's all about these relationships.
Correct.
And so a proof of concept. So I directed that.
So let me understand this one thing. What would you prefer? Would you prefer working in Hollywood? Would you prefer working in Bollywood, which you are working?
Yeah.
And does it have a knack? Like, is there a knack in Bollywood that you would personally be there for?
I think I'm sort of in the zone of, the roles that I get or have gotten are pretty, with like Saspa Flamingo and Rocket Boys and things that are also not I've also turned down quite a bit of British Raj stuff. I mean, I did Heeramandi because it was Bansali. But otherwise, that's a role I probably wouldn't have taken had it been somebody else.
Because why would that be?
Just because it was another British Raj thing. Yeah. Of course, it turned the story had changed. It was a more very intricate story of my character who falls in love with this woman, and there's marriage and an affair that happens and all of this stuff. So it was really intricate, this story. And then it turned out to be a little more sort of straight and British Raj, and I was the bad guy, and you know what I mean? A little more linear in that respect. Yeah. So
please don't mind my next statement. It's something like, while we were kids or something like that, we always used to have foreigners and stuff like that. We used to see them. So this is an Indian thing where we used to make fun of them and everything. So have you ever acted in a role of a British Raj? Like you've been a colonel or a lieutenant and stuff like that when you're working in movies. And there have been kids coming up to you and saying, "You Simon, go back. Simon, go back." Has that ever happened with you?
No, never.
Oh,
I know. I don't even know the reference.
Oh, no. So basically, what happens is when basically we were in school, so we had a couple of friends who used to do this. Whenever they used to see some kind of a foreigners or something, just for the fun of it, of it, they used to go to them and be like, "Simon, go back." Because that's what we were learning in history back in the day. So it was, and there was some kind of a movement back in, like when the English were ruling over us. So it was something called a Simon Go Back.
Interesting. I've never heard of that before. Never. No. Oh. No, and nobody's ever, I mean, it's, also you're on a film set, and I mean, usually if there's any kids around, they're just sort of enamored by the whole set and the crew and everything.
So you've done, could you just name out all the Bollywood movies that you've done till date?
The first was Byomkesh, Permanu, a couple of years later. Then we moved here, Kesari. As soon as we got off the plane, I went in and read for Kesari, got that. And then I did some TV show, which was wild. Chandrasekhar.
Okay.
So it was a real, series, straight series. That was a totally wild experience. That's when I started getting you're getting the script as you're walking to the set, that type of thing. After that, boy, I don't know. I think that's when I honestly Commando 3. Yeah, that one.
Heeramandi, cool. Kesari.
Yeah, and then Kesari. I mean, Kesari 2 just came, but Bombay Begums was a web series. The web series started to come in, like the Rocket Boys was great. Saspa Flamingo was a great experience. But the films, Maharaj was, that's where I had a huge Hindi chunk. That was a big obstacle. That was a big challenge.
Is it difficult for you to speak Hindi?
It's easier now when I get the text. I can sort of go through. I mean, I understand quite a bit of it, but I still don't, it's not my response. I'm the opposite. My 2-year-old daughter, I say everything in English and she responds in Hindi. She only speaks Hindi.
Okay.
She understands everything, but she only speaks Hindi. I'm the reverse. I can understand things, but I'll respond in English. I just haven't, I know it's such a thing at home. And my wife, even the maids are like, "Why, how have you been here for 8 years and you still are not speaking?" I'm like, I can speak a little. I speak a little bit. And I can get around, but speaking fluently every day is not. I don't know. I haven't.
So out of all the projects that I can remember that you've done in your life, and you can remember that you've done in your life, is there any project that you've particularly regretted doing it, and then it has just been there?
Regretted? I mean, there have been projects like my first YRF thing, Shamshera.
Okay.
That was something that I think there was a misunderstanding. Shanu I know very well.
Yeah.
Like her assistant had called and said, "Hey, there's this role." I don't even think I didn't audition for it. There was a period there. Sometimes you don't audition for things because people know your work and they just give you. And I think it was that case that the role was given. And I was asking for where can I see the scenes? And they said, yeah, we'll send you the scenes. And it was like the shoot date was coming up, and I was like, I would love to see the scenes. And they eventually sent the scenes, and it was like 2 lines. I said, this 2 lines, that's it?
Yeah.
2 lines?
Yeah.
And so something like that, where I was just like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. So then anyway, it was like this misunderstanding. It's totally fine. I had a good experience, and the director was great, and the producers were great. And, I made friends like I always do when you're on a set.
Sure.
That's just how it is. It's like one big family. But that was one of those where there was a misunderstanding. And there was another film that I did that was also a misunderstanding, where I thought it was this role of this father with this whole elaborate thing. And when I actually got there was nothing.
Would you say that there is a kind of a language barrier or a cultural difference for these kind of misunderstandings?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the last one I just mentioned was it's a South film.
Yeah.
I don't even need to. But it was literally one of these things where I showed up and I was like, and we had just had our second daughter.
Oh.
And I had to go
a
week after she was born. And it was like I was off in the middle of nowhere, and I'm playing this character who has no line. He just arrives and gets his head cut off. And I was there for a week. I was just like, why am I here? Like, this is a nothing role.
Right.
Like I had just played Danze, or I just played, you know what I mean? Roles that have substance. And here I was just doing this thing where I was like, anyone could do it. You could get any white guy from Goa will just show up and put on a costume and, do all that. I mean, I was just like, why am I here? This is a total waste of my talent and time. And, so that was the one where I was like, I don't even want to be, I want to be at home. I've got a baby.
Yeah.
I mean, like, 5 days old,
Yeah.
So that was one of those, I was just, oh, well, what do you do? I mean, I don't know.
So there are many kind of art forms, directional art forms, acting art forms. What is this one thing that you're looking forward to work in your life? Like you would want to do that kind of a role. Is there something specific, or is there some kind of a director you want to be like?
Oh, no.
I'm sure there's going to be something.
There's not. Roles. It's not like I look at. Oh man, I want to play Hamlet. There's nothing like that. There's
correct.
There's tiny little things of like, well, someday I really would like to work on Chekhov, which I've never done, and I want to do. I want to. That's an interesting question. I've never thought about emulating a director.
Yeah.
I want to direct just because I feel like it's in me, and it's always been in me since I was a kid, and when I would play with my friends when I was 7 years old, 6, 7, 8, or whatever. We would play, and whatever we were playing, I would tell them all the things to say, and I'd say, okay, now you're going to go over here and you're going to say this, and then I'm going to go through the door, and when I come out the door, and then you come over here, and then he's going to jump behind this thing. You know what I mean? I was always like doing that thing, so I feel like it's always been in me, and it's sort of latent. It's just been sitting there for a long time and haven't really got out, except for the few times I've directed, which feel amazing, like the best feeling I've ever felt. And photography, I got a little bit of that too. Where you're directing the action, you're directing the actor, whoever's getting their photograph taken, because it's all been portraits. So there's been that, but
so for me, I have grown up watching Nolan movies. Like Nolan is my perfect ideal when we call it. But my dream is to understand his movies in the first go itself. Which is very difficult.
You and a lot of other people.
So which is very difficult. But for you, is there any kind of such a scenario where you would want to be there, like be like somebody?
There are people that I really, directors that I really love. Baz Luhrmann, Woody Allen. It's so vastly different. I'm blanking on names.
It's just a brain fog. I think we get that a lot.
Everybody gets that when they're on the spot. They're like, "What are your 5 favorite films?" You're like, but yeah, I don't know. It's really tough because the films that I feel like I'm drawn to are these smaller films that have this incredible emotional tug. Like they just feel so real, and they're so, like Nomadland, Francis McDormand, like films like that, where you're just like, it's such real life, and it's so, it's just incredible.
Okay. As a photographer, you have an eye. You have an eye for objects. You have an eye for people. You have an eye for everything that's coming your way across. So has it made you hyper aware about how you are as an actor as well?
I'm certainly, that's a good question. Yeah. I'm certainly more aware of light.
Okay.
That's probably the biggest technical, nuanced technical aspect of, that through line between the two is knowing light. Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of actors are oblivious. They just don't even know where the light is, or that would be one thing. I feel like, what I sort of bring, whatever I bring to the table, I think is some sort of reality or authenticity, whether it's photography or acting or whatever. Correct. My goal is always to be real, or try as real as possible, or as authentic as possible.
So has Hollywood taught you that, or has Bollywood taught you that?
I think it's just in
general, in acting
just in general. Yeah. I'm, coming into it, the actors that I really responded to were, that was their, it's like Sean Penn.
Correct.
Like those actors were my, they're however many, 8 years, 10 years above me. So those were the ones that were really sort of the pinpoints, Timothy Hutton and Sean Penn, and these guys that were like actors.
For me, the cultural classic is Godfather and Al Pacino.
Of course. That's
the
level. But those were and Sean Penn. Those guys idolized Pacino. Yeah. So there's this whole lineage from Brando to Pacino and De Niro, right? And that whole. And there's a whole.
That whole league is totally different.
Yeah, and then you have the actors that are just, Gene Hackman, who we just lost. Just brilliant. Talk about real. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, this guy is brilliant. But he's also just kind of, it doesn't stand out like a De Niro.
Correct.
But man, what a powerhouse.
Powerhouse is an understatement, I think. Yeah, would be an understatement for sure. Yeah. So now, Mark, we shift our gears to a little bit of your personal life.
Okay.
It's always a saying, your wife is always the biggest support system that you have.
Yeah.
How has Taapsee played a role in your life as?
We totally support each other in everything we do. And are very, we are really, I got lucky. We're a good couple. We're really solid, good. We're really, I think the secret sauce is really liking each other.
Correct.
When you hear people talk about their spouse and say they're my best friend, it's really, there's something that actually kind of dilutes. Yeah. By saying that, something is diluted because it's more than just a best friend. We just really like each other. We love each other. We're in love with each other, and we just really like each other.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you just support the person.
It's a floating life then. It's just free flowing.
Yeah. And of course we have our arguments and,
that's the part of marriage. Yeah. That's the part
and you have to fight well together to stay together, because you're always going to have things come up and you fight about it. But if you can do that well, and we never, we just have a thing where we never go to bed upset. Like whatever the thing is, it will be resolved by the time we hit the pillow.
There is always this saying that half the people that I know say that you should never go to bed upset.
Yeah.
But the other half of the people are like, you should take a break and then resolve things, because while the metal is hot, if you tend to hit too much, it breaks down or it molds into a different shape altogether. That molds a relationship into a different state altogether.
Yeah.
So how would you justify that?
To each their own. I don't know. For us, we just decided we would never go to bed upset.
Correct.
Because then I think maybe we had done that once, and it was like, waking up in the morning and everything had just mulched overnight and became something more and bigger than it needed to be, and that was it. I think it just happened one time, and we said we'll never do it again.
So basically, when we say that, you know, so for people in the West, there's always a certain perception about India as such.
Mm-hmm.
Like they think that over here there are rapes that are happening, there are, you know, deaths that are taking place, people live very unhygienically and stuff like that. Was that your perception when you were about to come to India for the first time?
No. I feel like no. I don't know what I
this is way back in time, I know.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think. I didn't have any. I remember probably when I was in my mid-20s, there were friends of mine, or friends of my then girlfriend, who were coming to India a lot to do yoga. We were part of this yoga scene in New York City, and so they were going to India for yoga. And I remember thinking at the time, oh wow, it sounds like hot and dusty, like where they were going, you know, it was probably, I don't know where they were going, Mysore, I don't know what, but at the time they just talked about the heat and the dust, and it was such a long flight. And I thought to myself, wow, why would you want to go there? You know, go there. And then later, of course, I had read a book by a guy named Robert Johnson, a psychotherapist, who had spent 25 years going back and forth between California and India.
Okay.
And the way that he described India, I don't even know what, my dad had given me that book. And the way he described India was just so beautiful and so like sagacious. So was like such a wise country, you know, and I felt that like when I did come here and the young people I was meeting, I was like, my God, they're so much more advanced than the kids in the West.
Correct.
You know, at the same age. You know, here you have 22-year-olds. I mean, you know, I had a photography assistant for this project, and she's 22. The day that I was leaving to get on the plane to go back to California, she had gotten up at 5 o'clock in the morning and had prayed into this thing that she tied around my wrist before I left for an hour and a half.
Wow.
I was like, what 21-year-old in the United States would get up that early to pray into a piece of thread that you're going to put on my arm? Like, no American would do that. You know what I mean? It was just, there's so much more maturity here at such a younger age.
Oh. I
mean, it's so impressive. And also, kids that have started company, 21 years, we all know them. Like, everyone's like starting company to have 3-4 companies by the time you're 22.
Sure.
They're like, what are you doing? Guneet, when I first met her, I thought she was my age. She was like 25 years old, 24. Had already produced 8 films. I was like, what? Like, how are you doing this? What's in the water? Like, this is incredible.
Correct.
Everyone is so mature. So much more than the West.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't even know what was the question.
I don't even remember that now because the conversation just went on such a great front. So I think the question was, I don't even remember that now. Yeah.
Oh, it's okay.
I mean, yeah. But I just wanted to, get onto the front as well, is that when your kids are growing up over here now, would you be sending them for further education in the West, or would you be doing it here itself? What do you think? What's your perception on that?
I think they're going to be here. I think Europe, I think America has, has gone down a notch. I think the whole world realizes that. And it's not, I certainly know the perception here is about America is not what it used to be. Where it used to be, right? Like when my wife everyone was going to school in the States. And that's what you did. But I think now it's more sort of, we're a few years away from that with our 7-year-old and 2.5-year-old. But I think either India or Europe or, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So has there been ever a situation where, you have said a dialogue, you're working on a film script at home and your wife goes and she goes like, this is not how you say it. So all the time?
Oh, for Hindi?
Yeah, for Hindi.
Oh, yeah. For everything. Everything.
Okay. Is there some kind of a situation that you would like to highlight?
It's I can't even, it's anything. I say chahiye. She's like, no, chahiye. I'm like, chahiye. No, chahiye. I'm like, what are you? I'm saying what you're saying.
Correct.
Or whatever. Yeah, the D's and is there an air? Da or da.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's everything.
It's everything.
I can't win.
You cannot.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, you cannot ever.
Oh, man.
What's your comfort space in Mumbai?
Boy, I don't know. We're homebodies. I mean, I really like I've always cherished my house and always fixed it up and decorated like crazy. And I mean, I really like my space. And Tapsi and I, the spaces that we've created together, the homes that we've lived in. So probably my comfort space is home.
Home.
Yeah, home. Yeah, we chill at home a lot. We're home a lot. Yeah. Because
you have kids as well, right? That changes. You have kids as well, right?
Yeah,
so that changes everything.
Yeah. And the kids the 7-year-old goes to school right across the street. Like we have a zip line down, from our apartment. And then the little one goes to daycare right across the street from there. And we have 2 parks between our house. I mean, where we are is just, it's amazing. Yeah.
So, you're a man of many talents, I would say. I would say that, yeah. I would say that. That would be my conclusion.
Master of none?
That's the whole thing, because I don't remember, I don't remember the whole thing, but yeah, it's a pretty long one. But what I was coming down to is that direction, acting, production, you've done it all, possibly.
Oh, well, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, I've production, certainly not. But direction, I feel like I'm just barely scratching. Acting, photography, drumming. I played in a band for years in LA. Those are the big 3. And then, now directing and writing. And I really like writing a lot. So
what's next on the plate? Like, what is a big thing that you're working on currently?
I've written a series that I'm now starting to pitch around. It's gotten a lot of interest. Like everyone I've shown it to it's gotten a lot of interest, and there's nothing else like it. Without giving away too much, it's a family drama, and there's just nothing else that is that has the same tone, and the same sort of dynamics, or maybe it has the same dynamic, but the tone is so different, obviously, because it's a Westerner telling, life, family life here in Bombay, but it's told from a Western point of view. So that's kind of unique, and that's the biggest thing that I'm working on now, and the short film that I'm about to direct. Yeah.
So just to get this right, I wanted to explain, basically why we are doing this is basically to tell the kids of this generation how do you want to get into acting, what you should not do in acting while you're trying to perceive acting as a project across. And we were discussing this a couple of minutes back itself. So what do you think would be the right approach for people, and what should they do to get there where they want to get to?
I think, I feel like, first and foremost, and I would tell this to lots of actors, whether, because I also teach sometimes, you've got to have something else in your life that you love, that you really sincerely love. Because if you're putting all your eggs into one basket, it's so rare that it happens. You just hit a home run out of the gate. It's going to be a slow, track, and it just takes time. It just takes time, and you just have to stick with it. And you have to, I've got mixed feelings about training. I think training is great if you want a life in theater. I don't know that it's necessary for a life in film and TV. It certainly doesn't hurt, though. Sure. Because I do know people who've come here and, they join a gym and they join a dance class and, and think that that's it. I think taking acting classes is never a bad thing. I follow this poet, David White, who said, there are worse things you can do than read a poem every day. I think like that with acting, there are worse things you can do than just taking acting classes. You should take an acting class. Having said that, it's not necessary. Christian Bale has never taken an acting class. Russell Crowe's never taken an acting class. You know what I mean? So it's like you kind of go, okay, well, but it doesn't hurt.
Yeah, sounds fair. Fair.
Yeah.
So just now we've almost touched base everything. There was this one social sector that I would want to touch base with you, for matter of fact. There in today's youth and internet has played a major role in developing and changing perceptions and perspectives of people from undergrad. I have seen the West, particularly myself with my own eyes, and I've seen India as well. Like, I'll particularly speak about India. There's a lot of, how do I say this? There's a lot of drug-driven society, as we can call it. So, and it definitely, people's perception states that it comes from an entertainment sector itself, like the film industry, media. They ask for it. What do you think about that?
About drugs?
Yeah, in general. Like, it is basically, people think they have a knack of perception is that drugs are usually born from the film and entertainment and fashion side.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Because you're somebody from the West and like, you have seen much worse than what we have seen over here. Like, I can particularly vouch for that as well. So, what do you think about that? Like,
I don't make the correlation at all. I mean, I feel like talking about the drug issues in the States has never been in Hollywood. I mean, unless you take a one-off, you take Robert Downey Jr. Go, oh well, he was a drug addict, and I don't know. Yeah, I guess he had a drug problem. I feel like it's the people who are in the rural communities, that they're getting addicted to drugs.
Correct.
Because there's no employment in these little towns. It's just the factory's been taken away, and people get addicted to meth or whatever, and those are problems. Whatever drugs are in Hollywood or Bollywood or whatever, it's like, I mean, people are going out for drinks, and I don't know what they're doing. I mean, I don't do drugs, but it's a part of, I don't know, some celebration of freedom, life or whatever. You're working, you're playing, you're doing your thing. It could be in any, it could be on Wall Street, whatever. But real drug problems, I think, are more in the rural communities. I think, at least for the US. I don't know about here.
Yeah, that's fair. So you still travel back and forth to States?
I haven't. I went back to the States. I feel like I shot something in Vancouver recently. And prior to that, I was there like maybe a year and a half ago.
Oh, okay.
For some photography clients, old clients.
Oh, lovely. Yeah. So you still do photography?
Every once in a while. I mean, I still sort of, every once in a while I do it here for friends or whatever. Friends or, client friends type.
Yeah, I get it.
But I don't pursue it, like I used to. Yeah.
So I think we have touch-based almost everything that we had to. Some conversations, we'll do it over a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. Thank you for watching, and please stay tuned for more. Thank you.
Hi, Mark Bennington here. Please like, subscribe, and what else? Share. Like, subscribe. I'm Mark Bennington. You're watching Chai with Ilachi.